This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You are always scum. Rebel scum.
Man, like, I don't even know how to feel anymore. We are in a post-Snyder Cut world. I know this is a Star Wars podcast, but, like, it's something we can't ignore.
I did. I haven't seen it yet.
Like, no. Like, how many Star Wars fans are going to be like, oh, Snyder Cut, can we get, or we talked about last week, the Abrams cut.
Oh, I've seen it everywhere. Actually, apparently it's the 6-hour version of the Phantom Menace people want. I'm like, do you really want to watch a 4-hour pod race? Because I have a feeling that's what it is. Do you know what, though? I will say this. I am very happy that Zack Snyder's vision was released. However, I don't know if you saw this earlier today. We're going to talk about Star Wars, don't worry. But earlier Monday, Warner Brothers, I can't remember, the head of Warner Brothers was like, we're not doing the Ayer cut. Zack Snyder finished his trilogy. It's over. We're moving on. And to be honest with you, Brock, when I heard that, that's paraphrasing, by the way, but when I heard that, I was of two minds. As a fan, I was disappointed that we weren't getting more Snyder stuff, but also beyond the Justice League, I was a Man of Steel. You know how much I like that movie, and Batman and Superman. I love that movie. So I was all in on the Snyderverse as it was before the Justice League phenomena kicked in, and now that I saw it, I'm even more on. I did feel that it was a good ending. However, like, I know that, you know, you could do more, but anyway. So as a fan, I was a little bit disappointed in that. But at the same side, as a fan, I was also like, good for you. Because, okay, the Snyder Cut happened. Justice League was different from the Ayer cut. It was different from all these other, the Batman Forever cut that we kind of talked about. It's different because they were kind of pushing him out. And then Zack Snyder had an unfortunate event in his family, and he just couldn't do it anymore. So he said, I'm out. I don't want to deal with this negativity. I can't do it. I'm having too much stress at home, this and that. So he just left on his own accord. He said that numerous times in the past week as well. And you know what? And the film that ended up coming out, I don't think it was a complete disaster. It's not it's weird. Like, the choices that you end up seeing that were made are like, why? But that being said, fans petition. He went through a lot, and I think that was nice. But at the same time, this can't set a precedent that whenever fans want something, they get it. And I know a lot of fans out there feel like, well, we're the fans. We have final say.
Yeah.
And I know that's a thing. And look, and I've said this about Star Wars fans all the time. We take this weird ownership of this material, and we don't have any of it. We have none of it. And we take it for some reason. That's true of all fandoms, clearly. And I think, you know, as much as it sucks that we won't get a Justice League 2 or maybe a Man of Steel 2, they're like, no, they now have this game plan, whatever it is, you know, the Matt Reeves film, the J.J. Abrams Superman, Suicide Squad 2. They have, you know, Wonder Woman 3, Aquaman 2. They have a thing coming up, and they're just like, no, well, we gave Zack Snyder we respected what the fans wanted, and we respected Zack Snyder enough for what and I think ultimately it was what HBO Max needed content, but also he contributed 2.5 films to the studio. And whether you like Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman, people talk about them all the time. They're always discussed, and no publicity is bad publicity. And he brought that to him.
Yeah. It's wild because, like, I don't think I said this to you. I said this to my roommate, Joe. This is like the biggest movie in the last year. Like, movies came out, but like the amount of talking in the space of two, like, we're here in Canada. I have Rogers Cable, they have their like streaming sort of thing is called Ignite. And I was furious that it wasn't on Ignite immediately at like 3 a.m. But Joe told me later, it's like, yeah, it premiered Friday. Thursday was like the midnight release. I'm like, oh yeah. Like, it's wild. Like, it's just crazy. Like, this is like the most we've been able to talk about a movie to then, and it's like on a grand scale. Like, Tenet was kind of there, but like that, I feel like that was more because like the marketing was like, wow. But like,
they
I can't
knocked
believe
this out of the park. They knocked everything about the Snyder Cut out of the park, right? And I think, but I mean, again, you can't let fans dictate everything. I mean, Sonic worked,
Absolutely.
Ninja Turtles did not. Snyder Cut clearly worked. Like the other thing with the Snyder Cut, the thing that drives me nuts about the Snyder Cut is like we wanted a 2-hour movie. Then why did you greenlight a 240-page, 300-page script that he obviously presented to you? This is what I can't figure out. Like, somebody greenlit this movie as a 3 to 4 hour movie. And then you're like, no, it's got to be 2 hours. It's like, well, that, and that. So there, I mean, like, look, everyone's at fault in this, I think. But it's, it ended up working out. It ended up working out for HBO Max. The servers crashed at midnight or whenever, at 3 a.m. when it dropped. Wild. I thought it dropped at 3 a.m. here, though, Brock. It was like 3 a.m. hard on Crave. It dropped.
Yeah, because that's what I assume that is just the time. It always stuff like that because of the West Coast.
So wait, when did you try to watch it? Midnight here?
I think at 4 in the morning.
And you couldn't watch it?
No, I totally was able to watch it.
Okay. If you watched,
I just went to sleep and set an alarm.
If you watch the Kevin Smith red carpet for Troll event, it's hilarious.
Oh, I didn't. I saw it.
You have to watch the end because he has no idea when it is on. He's like, we're 4 minutes away, but it's 9 p.m. Pacific time. And they're like, no, it's midnight. He goes, midnight Eastern, you get to watch it. And then like he's interviewing Zack Snyder. He goes, wait, no, 3 a.m. Eastern. He has no idea. But look, we talked about Star Wars getting an extended cut all the time. And I just don't, the Phantom Menace 6-hour cut, I believe there is one, but I don't believe it's good in how the Snyder cut is good. And whether you like the Snyder Cut, what I mean by that is the Snyder Cut is a movie that you could, I think you could get a 2-hour movie out of that. It would be butchered, but you could. So I don't know what they were doing. But at the same time, it's a cohesive story. You understand what's going on, the character development, blah, 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 blah. Whereas I think the Phantom Menace 6 hour, a lot of movies start off at 4 to 6 hours and they're not good.
Yeah.
That's not what you want. So I don't know. I don't think longer Star Wars movies exist the way we now like to pretend they do in our minds.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm all for Lord of the Rings did it and it went great. But like that wasn't really like here's the movie that you will see in the theater, and for all the people that love this movie, here's your Blu-ray 2 years later.
Which is kind of what the Snyder Cut felt like.
Yeah.
I feel like the 2017 movie was the trailer for the
and see, like the thing is, it's just like you watch it and like right now it's like I know they did a little bit of reshoots and what have you, but it's just like I don't want to call this a success. I think it's a fantastic film, and it's like for a 4-hour movie, you're like, wow. But I don't think anything should be 4 hours long. Make it 2 movies. If that story, maybe it's difficult in the middle to cut in half. I don't know, but like. I'm all for like make your movie that you can sell to everyone and then just release another one. I guess Blu-rays and DVDs are kind of a thing of the past. Put it like we're all doing streaming. So it's like if you I was going to say prescribe. If you subscribe to HBO Max, then you get this extra Justice League thing, or they're getting the Lord of the Rings stuff, like that series, like they'll have exclusive. You know what I mean? It's just sort of like if you get Disney Plus, you'll get the Star Wars movie plus the Star Wars movie and another hour of footage is like, or whatever. I don't see a problem with that, but I don't make the choices.
I like short movies, but he definitely pitched this as a long movie. Like everyone was like, this is gonna be a long movie, and then something happened. I think it was Batman vs Superman. They're like, well, no, it's gonna be 2 hours. But they're like, it's gotta be 2 hours now. But you can't like greenlight something and everything's ready to go for 4 hours. And like, I mean, they kind of did that. Like Deadpool, they joke about how the end of the first Deadpool was supposed to be, they stripped their budget by like $7 million or whatever, so they couldn't do a big battle at the end. So he forgets his bag, and that was their compromise. It was like, well, I forgot my weapons. Which it works for Deadpool, but I think the trajectory they were on for this, it doesn't work. However, the 4-hour cut, to your point, works perfectly for streaming. This movie would be ripped apart in the theater. Yeah, I don't think people enjoy it, but it works perfectly for streaming. It's it's set up into 6 parts. You can stop it whenever you want. But I do think maybe they should have the conversation. Maybe we do make this like Infinity War, make this part 1 and part 2. Figure out a middle part. Superman's Return is where we're stopping this. Yeah, absolutely. Spoiler: Superman Returns. But Superman's Return is where we're going to stop this. I mean, that might be later. That might be late in it. But you figure something out, and that's where we're going to cut it in half. Put like a nice little ending in there. That's not an ending, but it feels like it's like, oh, guess what's coming up next month, next year, whatever. But anyway, look, there was a lot of mistakes made where I don't think Star Wars, I think Star Wars is very different. I think J.J. Abrams, for Rise of Skywalker anyway, was hired to make the Rise of Skywalker movie. They, whether it was his idea or not to put Palpatine in it, I don't think it was, but whatever. He was mandated, he wasn't mandated halfway through shooting to put Palpatine in it though. It was in the script, right? Sure. And, there's other things in the script, and I think, and I think the difference is Snyder got kind of pushed out, when he was finished shooting, basically, whereas Abrams was kind of, all the stuff that was being mandated onto Snyder in editing was being mandated to Abrams in writing. And that's and I think that's one of the big differences all the time. And look, everyone's like, well, directors got blah blah blah. Yeah, but there's a few ways to look at it. 1, collaboration is always key. 2, the people with the money have the money. And if you can't convince them to let you make the movie that you want to make, that's another thing altogether, because that's your job. Is if you have a vision and these people are going to give you the money for that vision, you need to convince them to not change that vision or diminish it in any way, shape, or form, as best as you can. The producer's job is to do that, but not the director's.
Man, yeah, it's quite a feat. It just blows your mind. But you said something earlier. It's like they probably kiboshed this 4-hour movie originally because of the results of Batman versus Superman. And I just that's very, very true. Like people, because my roommate Joe watched all of the Superman stuff and Batman versus Superman this weekend after watching that, and I was like, oh yeah. Wait a second. People hated Batman versus Superman. Like, no wonder stuff got weird on Justice League because they're like, do
you know what I find absolutely fascinating about the Batman versus Superman? I love Batman versus Superman. Yeah. But what's fascinating to me beyond all reason is the people that love The Last Jedi hate Batman versus Superman, and people that seem to love The Last Jedi or hate Batman versus Superman because of the way they treat the characters. Because that's not my Luke Skywalker, that's not my Batman. It's like, are you not seeing that? Like, to me, both movies treated these iconic characters in the same light, where they're like, we're going to deconstruct them and put them in situations where they have to figure out who they have always been, and they're not who you always thought they were. And for Batman and Luke Skywalker, we're being thrown into them after years and years and years, and it's like Luke is miserable and Batman's like, well, everyone I know that ever died, I better kill people. Like, it's like they're both on this there's mirror, but for some reason the ones that love Luke Skywalker hate the characters in that, and the people that hate the way that Luke was portrayed love them in that. And I'm just like, my head is hurting so bad by this. But I think the way Snyder approached those movies to contrast, I don't think he didn't do it purposely to contrast with Marvel, but Fantasia did a review on his channel for Justice League, or was it before, whatever. And it's like and I wrote, I was like, the great thing is like Marvel is like, here's the comic books, like it's like reading a comic book when you watch the movies. But DC was like, well, let's do something a little bit different. And like, why can't what you mentioned? When are we going to get bored of superhero stuff?
Yeah.
Well, if you mix it up and we start getting different things, maybe it'll have a longer shelf life. But if everything is the exact same, I think it's like Star Wars. If we keep pumping out the exact same Star Wars, it's going to get boring really, really fast. And sometimes you got to take a chance. And maybe you think they failed, maybe they didn't. But I don't know. The risk, I don't know. You got to mix it up a bit.
It's like, I mean, you got to move forward, which is, I think, something Star Wars has to do and is doing right now, in a sense. Like Mandalorian, fight me, it's a success. It's great. You can criticize it all you want, and you know anything you make, someone's gonna criticize. I remember seeing someone just blatantly, like, I think it was a Kevin Smith post, and for some reason Facebook chose this dude's post where it's just like, it was the worst about Snyder Cut. It was like, it was the worst superhero film I've ever seen. And then he made a graphic that said like worst ever made, and then his name underneath. I'm like, what is happening? I was like, am I having a fever dream? So it's just like, like maybe down the line they'll be like, oh, maybe we make a story. Like, we've said it before. I'm frustrated seeing articles like, this is how you fix this. This is how you fix that. I'm like, get out of here. I saw an article today. It might have been satirical, but it's like, if you don't like Rise of Skywalker, you're alt-right. Oh, no, sorry. If you don't like the new Star Wars sequels, you are part of the alt-right. I'm like,
yeah, I saw that too.
What?
But I think that is, we don't want to go down that bag of worms. I don't understand it completely, but I think, I don't know. The fandom seems to be uber toxic and nothing is happening in Star Wars right now. And it's like, I log onto Twitter and it's just like, I'm like, what the hell? It's like a dumpster fire. And it's like, what the hell is going on? These are freaking movies with lightsabers and but everyone's arguing over everything, and I don't go down those deep roads anymore. And I just quote Zack Snyder, was like, there's no room for hate because we're talking about movies. It's fiction. We're not talking about real life here. Yeah, like, get over it. I've never understood why, you can like Pokemon. And I've never played it, but I will be getting snapped. But let's say I didn't like Pokemon. Let's say I finally played it, and I was like, this is garbage. What? And then you're like, I love Pokemon. Why would I? And this is what happens all the time. I'm like, why would I feel the need to put you down? Not just say I don't like it, which is a fair thing for me to say, and the truth. But then putting you down because you like it, like making you lesser than everybody that doesn't like it, like you're petty for liking it. It makes no sense to me. As I saw, like just so many people like certain little things in the franchise, right? And people for some reason want to jump on them and put them down, and it's just it's very disturbing how. I think it's social media has really created this on people, where you feel like, well, I'm just gonna punch you in the face because you like something. You don't deserve to like Star Wars. I've liked it for 42, however long Star Wars is. How long has it been on now? 44 years is going to be this year, right? I've liked Star Wars for 40. My whole life, I've liked Star Wars. You've liked it for what? 5 years? 2 months? We're in a bad spot, Brock. You and I need to fix it. Pool party.
Pokemon. I love Pokemon, James.
I know you do. When Snap.
Sorry, what were you saying?
We're gonna get Snap, right? Are we gonna play Snap against each other?
Oh man!
Can we take pictures of each other on our 3DSs in 3D?
Play that helicopter game. Yeah. No, you're right though. It's just like, at what point? Like, is this Trump? Is like what happened to us that we're like, oh, it's like we have to weigh in on every single thing. It's
everything.
Like, I don't know. It's everything. It's like you can think of your social group and it's like, oh, none of the people I know really do anything like that, and I think I know them pretty well. But there's masses of people. I don't know. It's just, whatever, like, come at me, bro. Like, I don't care.
It just
like,
blows,
you don't like this? Oh, don't you not like it?
It just like, blows my mind that we're pooping on everybody. Like, everybody gets crapped on for everything. It's like, jeez, man, it's a fandom.
Yeah.
Fan. Like, stop it. Okay, great. You like puffer pigs. That doesn't make you any less. Everyone should like puffer pigs.
Wait, what did you say? You like what?
Puffer pigs from
Puffer
the Rebel? Yeah. But you know, like, it's, I don't know. It's just for some reason everybody feels like they're better than everybody else, and we need to stop that. And I don't know what. Look, it's social media has given us this right where we can hide behind our keyboards and do whatever we want. And then YouTube, if this video was called "We Hate Kathleen Kennedy," who, by the way, was just fired, but if it was like, if we hate Kathleen Kennedy and Rose is the worst character, if we called it that and a few other things, our views would be at 101, not 50. But we get like a lot, like, you know what I mean? Like, YouTube's algorithms are supporting the hate that people are spewing, the negativity. It's like people are searching, and I'm not blaming YouTube necessarily. They're not helping the cause, but they're also run by robots. It's being guided because that's what people are searching for. They just want to feel like we all hate together.
Yeah. Man, we have to step up our game where we have a board that's like days since Kathleen Kennedy's been fired, and every time you say it, I just hit 0.
She gets fired every day. They had that call, and was it Michael Chapek? Bob Chapek?
Bob Chapek, yeah.
Michael Eisner Chapek. That's what I call. They're all but like, he gave her a vote of confidence, and people were, first of all, the fact that somebody asked that question. I'm just rubbing my forehead right now. I don't know. It's like people interviewing Daisy Ridley for her Chaos Walking, asking her about, like, because they personally don't like Rise of Skywalker and they're bashing it to her face. People don't understand. She is an actress who was hired to do something, and she seems like she's proud of it, and now you're mocking it to her face. That's great. That's what you should do. You don't have to like it, but you don't mock something to the person's face who performed in it, who clearly is friends with the director of it as well. I don't know. It's just... Brock, can we talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm psyched for this movie, and I know nothing about it.
It's a show.
Or a show. What?
Here's a question for real, though. Genuine question. Will he have a love interest in this show?
Everyone was jazzed about that woman that was in Game of Thrones. So I'm like, yeah, she kind of looks like Satine. And I think I said this last week, is like, after WandaVision, where you can just like give a show that has no, like, the regular viewer doesn't understand if they haven't watched all the movies, like, you kind of can do it, I guess. Like, even if you don't understand, I'm sure they can, in 15 minutes, explain, like,
it's a line of
they had a past. That's all that matters. And then you're like, oh, you know that character Bo-Katan from Mandalorian? Yeah. They're sisters. And you're like, oh, you know what? It's... Go ahead.
I was going to say, look how easily they brought Bo-Katan and Ahsoka in.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not that difficult. And then the plan isn't to intermingle Obi-Wan with any of that stuff, but you kind of can. You can give backstory. It's not a bad idea. Like, we live in a world of the Snyder Cut came out. Like, it's like anything is possible. Like,
the thing though,
in a good way.
And I don't even know if it'll be Satine or not. And I'm not even speculating on that. It's probably Mephisto for all we know. But the thing is, though, is the brilliance of the Clone Wars is that's their backstory's built in. And so, unlike Lucas, where he had to create the Clone Wars story for Obi-Wan to say in A New Hope, they have that. So they could just say things, and you're like, "Oh, that happened in the past," and all you need to know is it happened in the past. We've all seen movies where they reference events of the past, and we haven't seen a prequel to the movie we're watching. That's just something that we just give to the characters. So I think they can easily do that, and they have that built in. And if you don't use it, I don't understand. But I mean, Deborah Chow's directing it, so I'm very excited for this. I think she has a stranglehold on Star Wars, completely understands the property and the tone and whatnot. So
Yeah, I don't want to sound so like two-dimensional, but it's like, what story do you tell about Obi-Wan of between Attack of the Clones and Return of the Jedi, A New Hope? I'm not saying you can't find something interesting that doesn't have, but it's just like it kind of makes sense to have like he's this guy that like devoted himself. I think I said this before. Like he devoted himself to this thing, and now it's falling apart. And he is like one of the last hopes, and he's got to protect this kid, or protect the secrecy of these two children in a way from this his brother who went crazy. It's almost Shakespearean when you think about it. Like, maybe that's enough. Maybe that I don't know. I'm down for whatever. Like, Ewan McGregor returning, like it's just and also Hayden Christensen, like, oh, like. Wow, like I don't think that could have occurred any other time besides now. And look, it's because there's a streaming platform. Mm-hmm. Like it's it's a new era of. I feel like we announce there's a new era of Star Wars every week, but like the opportunities are crazy, and it's just like it's interesting because it's like Obi-Wan's been on the docket for quite some time now, so it's just like it's like I don't know, it's stuff like this. I think this era of filmmaking and streaming and stuff is going to be a really interesting read in like 15 20 or 10 15 years. Like I think Zack Snyder for sure has a book that he could write on this experience of this movie. or someone can like analyze how that Snyder Cut's going to affect the ripple effect. But it's just like this whole like new mentality of things is going to be real interesting. Like, and Mandalorian's part of it too, because it's just like.
Well, I just read I haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier yet. I haven't seen it. By the time this airs, I have, but I want. So what happened was Friday. So Friday is the day everything seems to drop now. That's like the streaming day for stuff. Yeah. And so Aaron has a show. We have a show that we watched that just ended. Season 2 just ended of that, and so we're watching that. And then I was like, oh well, there's the Falcon show. So I really like Anthony Mackie a lot. I think he's great in The Banker. If you ever see The Banker on Apple Plus, and he's great in Detroit, the movie Detroit. Watch that. He's really good in that. I really like Anthony Mackie. And the trailer on Instagram for Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was like, oh, this looks like it's going to be a good show. Not that I was really that concerned about it, but I was just like, oh. So the thing is, Thursday we watched 4 hours of superheroes. So we finished watching the stuff that we watched, and then I was like, okay, do you want to watch something else? I'm like, I want to watch this show. She goes, another superhero. I was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, but it's different. So I put on the trailer on Disney Plus for this Falcon show, Falcon and Winter Soldier. No offense to the people that put this trailer together, but it's not very good. If you watch the trailer on Disney Plus, it's not very good at all. And it's basically like Agent 13? Agent 3?
Yeah.
They're like it's like, oh, she's in it. And it's like, but I'm telling you right now, my wife does not remember she does not remember anything that happened in Winter Soldier at all. And she liked it. I'm not saying shit, but it's been like 10 years. Like she has no idea what happened. And then the villain from Civil War, which she didn't like that movie, first of all. Secondly, he's wearing a purple she has no idea what that guy is. And the trailer showed no personality between the two actors at all. Yeah. And I'm like, and the one on Instagram was like all personality, right? Like I think it's the one where he goes, it's the big 3 or something. It was like, I don't know if that's in the first episode or not, but he was saying that. And so I got a hard no on it. And then I was busy all weekend, so I just haven't seen it yet. Yeah. But anyway, long-winded. It is now the number one, the most streams for a premiere episode, most watched premiere show on Disney Plus. Wow. Which is not, it's wild, but also there's 100 million subscribers now compared to the 30 when the first Mandalorian came. Like, so, that's true, yeah. But the good news is the people that are subscribing are watching these shows, and I think that bodes well for. I don't think Boba Fett will get the views that Falcon and Winter Soldier can get, because it's MCU is a different animal. But it bodes well that it's like people want original fictionalized series on these platforms featuring the universes that they know, and MCU is a big one, obviously, and Star Wars is next to that.
Yeah, I'm curious how many people watched it because they're like, "Hey, is there any WandaVision or anything like that?" I'm not criticizing that, but just like, I think people are like, "Wow, that was fun. Is there something else? Oh, how about this?" And I watched it. I think it's a very decent watch. I'm excited to see where the series goes. It goes slow, but like, I don't want to. The slow doesn't sound like the right word. It's just sort of like, it's a show. It's exactly what you think it's going to be like. So I enjoyed it.
I was looking forward to it, but I got shut. Well, I mean, look, 4 hours of superheroes a day before. I was like, I get it. We literally watched. That's the most TV. That's the most I sit down to watch anything at a time. I'm usually like 2 episodes of anything, and I'm done forever. So
did you see the meme where it's a picture of Scarlet Witch and WandaVision hugging her 2 kids, and it's like fans is above her head, and then the 2 kids is like,
yes. Falcon and Winter
Snyder
Soldier.
Cut and Falcon and Winter Soldier, and she's just kissing their heads for the same weekend.
And the thing is, that's the people. Like, why can't you like both? Why are people like, oh, I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC? Why can't you just like, man? When I was a kid in the playground, we were Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Hulk, and I was the Punisher. A 7-year-old Punisher walking around. No, I didn't get into Punisher till I was 8 years old.
Yeah, like what is it like? What was it, the old cable TV thing where it was like mid-season sweeps or something like that, where they put out their like thing to try to grab people's attention? I'm like, this feels like that.
That's what it was. Hey, but look, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why you can only be loyal to one IP. Like, just freaking like it all, man. And you could be disappointed by one doesn't have to be your favorite, but I don't understand why the arguing is over.
I will only watch one of them, but I do subscribe to HBO Max, Netflix, Disney Plus, Prime, Peacock. I'm just saying American streaming thing. Hulu's part of Disney Plus.
It's separate. You can get a package with it. My dad was complaining about Amazon Prime. He goes, "They make you pay or rent everything." I'm like, that's because that's not part of the streaming service. That's separate.
Yeah.
He didn't. He wasn't. He was not comprehending that at all. I'm like, you should.
Or you're like, oh, I can watch this series. It's like, if you subscribe to Stars.
Yeah, which I think I do, but I don't. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I get all these.
It's hard to keep track.
I just found out the other day that I have like 900 more channels than I thought I did on my TV. It just kept going, and I was like, I don't know what's happening here. Because my parents were like, "Do you have this channel?" I go, "Well, I could check," and I did, and it was really far down on the dial. And I was like, I don't even I don't know how I would ever find that. I mean. There's so much, but anyway, I've always been like, I don't really watch anything, but now I'm like, well, I'm paying so much for all this crap. I've now started to embrace it all and watch things. And there's a lot of good stuff and there's a lot of garbage stuff. And here's the thing, people always complain like, there's movies and music that are not as good as it used to be. And I would argue that's false. There might have been better stuff before, maybe, but I think the thing now is there was a lot of bad movies before. Because I don't know if you ever watched about Blockbuster Video, but there was like that wall of like new releases that were amazing, and then like that wall of straight to video stuff that was absolute trash, and then that back room. Now all of that stuff is right in front of you, and I don't know why, but they really like to push the bad stuff on you. But so it's all there. So I don't know if I don't. This is me. I don't necessarily think that movies have gotten worse. I just think the amount of movies as a whole are so much more accessible, and the bad ones stick out a lot more.
Yeah, Meanwhile, I just rewatched Starship Troopers. Fantastic film.
Oh, you just well, do you know they say that if you people who rewatch movies all the time have high anxiety, and
Oh, I do. Interesting.
I know, and I'm like, and Aaron's like, oh, you do. I've watched Zack Snyder's Justice League probably 3 times a day since Thursday. I just put it on, and I mean it's 4 hours, so not all the way through. But remember how it was with Man of Steel at that time? There's Jaws, Man of Steel, Die Hard. The movies that I can just watch, and Aaron's always like, "That's what you're watching again." I'm like, "It's my anxiety, high anxiety."
Yeah,
interesting. Obi-Wan Kenobi is gonna be a great show.
I strictly watched Starship Troopers again because somebody and I were talking about the scene where like Neil Patrick Harris puts his hand on the smart bug and he's like, "He's afraid." I'm like, fantastic. There's so many people in that movie that are like C-list people now that you're like, oh, that guy.
I have never seen Starship Troopers. Wait, Starship Troopers. I was thinking Super Troopers. I have seen Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Casper Van Dien.
Yeah.
Denise Richards. Neil Patrick. When he was Doogie Howser still. He was like still kind of Doogie Howser at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's a great movie. And what's his name? The bald guy. What's his name? Great actor.
Michael Ironside.
Yeah, Michael Ironside. Great actor. Love Michael Ironside.
And the incomparable Jake Busey. He plays a violin.
Jake Busey. What did we just? Oh, the new Predator movie. Jake Busey was in it. I'm like, Jake Busey. How come Jake Busey never blew up? Just not. He's like in Christmas with the Cranks, and he's like, I think I've peaked, and then he stopped acting, and he's like, wait, I'll do this Predator movie. Why not? He was a great. Like, I remember when Starship Troopers came out, he was like, they were like, Jake Busey was like a scene stealer. Everyone raved about him in reviews. Read the old reviews. Never amounted to anything. Just could not get out of his father's shadow.
He's renting a 3-bedroom apartment with Barry Pepper and Sean William Scott.
Barry Pepper. Canada's own Barry Pepper.
I almost thought about watching Battlefield Earth after watching Starship Troopers.
No.
No.
I was like, I'm going to like this. I was determined to like Battlefield Earth, and I couldn't do it. There's just something.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I watched it one time and I kind of left in the middle of it and came back. I'm going to like this. Get up. I left and walked back. But Starship Troopers, how does it compare to Star Wars? There's aliens.
It's stacked. Like, honestly, the CG is still pretty good. Like, I think it's a mix of practical and CG. The movie stands up. I don't know. I wouldn't compare it. Maybe, I don't know.
What was it on? Was it on Disney or Netflix?
I think it was Netflix.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it definitely gives you that flavor of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, it is really good because it makes fun of itself at the same time too, right?
Yeah,
like it's like
it's
a serious like action film, if you want to call that.
I wasn't interested when I saw the trailer. I didn't see it in the theater, and then when I was in college, a friend of mine was like, "How have you not seen this movie?" I'm like, "Cause I was just like, it didn't look like it didn't appeal to me." He goes, "No. We're watching Starship Trooper," and I was like, "What is this? This is better than it needs to be." It's fantastic. All right, you want to go to the odds?
Let's do it.
Never
tell me the odds.
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Do you like us? Would you like to give us money? Well, why don't you go on down to patreon.com, off the highway, just before you get to Albuquerque, turn left and go over to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast, where you can support us and we'll give you some free stuff. The free stuff changes all the time. We're doing our best. We love you. Thank you. If you don't want to, that's fine. Thank you for coming out. But we love the following people because they support us and we're always so thankful for them. They are Heidi Feder executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Stanifor, Soonerthron, Scott G, Josh Price, Matt W,
Rez, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, D, Raven Spencer, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Devi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Aaron Quinton, Girls with Sabers, and The Den of Nerds. Can I give you a tidbit about Den of Nerds?
Yeah.
I was on the Den of Nerds a few years ago, several years ago now, Brock, and we were talking about Batman v Superman, and I said how much I enjoy that movie, and I was mocked. You could probably find this video on there somewhere. I was mocked. Josh laughed at me. How could you like such garbage? And now he's making his living complaining that they're not they're not restoring the Snyderverse. Who's laughing now? Denim nerds.
Denim nerds. What are the odds today,
Oh,
James?
who knows? First on, will we get a live action? Oh, we didn't talk about it. I'm sure it's coming up in news though. All the new Star Wars Disney stuff that's coming to Disney Plus. Star Wars stuff that's coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not so much holiday special, but there's some mention in it.
The Boba Fett cartoon is coming to Disney Plus from the holiday special.
Yeah.
But anyway, never tell me the odds that we get a live action holiday special soon. A new live action holiday special on Disney Plus.
I don't know. I think like the Lego did what it could possibly happen. Like it would just be too much unless it was like they got current day actors to literally act out the exact same script of the holiday special. Like you can't what's the catch fire, like make fire in a bottle, like catch fire in a bottle, like whatever that saying is. Like you can't go to the well twice on something like that. Like that series exists because they're like, let's get writers that don't know a thing about Star Wars. And then maybe George Lucas was involved. We'll never know, right? Like it's so a live action one, I don't know, like 25%. I think it's a genius move to try to do something, but
I say you just get Pedro Pascal unmasked for an hour and a half. And just just have him in a Santa
could you
hat.
imagine? Oh, legit. Like they just got the script for that show and just acted it out with new actors.
Who would play B. Arthur? Betty White.
Let her just be retired.
I'm gonna go 31%. It's just not gonna happen. Will the entirety of the original holiday special appear on Disney Plus? Will the entirety of the original holiday special appear on Disney Plus?
Who owns it? Like, does anyone own it, or is it just George
I think
Lucas
it's
just has it?
Yeah, I think he owns it.
CBS?
And destroyed it all, but somehow they got that animated piece of it. So we'll see.
Yeah. The original. I'm gonna go full Brock. Like I think it should be on there. I think you can't erase your past. Like, just put it on. Who cares? If people don't like it, it'll just slowly go to the bottom of the pile.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 27%. I don't think they're going to find a copy that's even good enough to put on there. And our final odds today, the odds of that we will see K2SO being reprogrammed on the Cassian Andor series. Will we see the birth of K2SO?
I think so. Like, he's like one of the most interesting characters. So I'm gonna go 80%. Wasn't there like mention that like he's not gonna be in it? But they're K2SO.
Yeah, he's not. He said he's not in
right?
it, but he comes around later on. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
It could also be a stone cold lie.
Yeah, and you know, like, what's her face from Orphan Black isn't going to be She-Hulk.
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
And what's
Tatiana Maslany.
And what's the other Mandalorian said she won't be back in Mandalorian, and she came back in the finale. So
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go 80-something percent. I think I said 81%. Why not? Why not? I didn't read the. I think no, I did. I read the comic. It was okay. I don't know if they do that in the comic though. I can't remember the comic. But anyway, do it. I want to see it. And if I want to see it, that means you should do it. Otherwise, I will make an angry video about how you didn't do it.
Oh, yeah. I'll be... I'll like and subscribe that.
All right, Hollow News?
Hollow News!
Hollow News, da 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 da, Hollow News, da 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 da, Hollow da 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 da. Here you go, high note. Da da da. My mic is off.
Hollow News, the news you need to know right now. Recently, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige stated that he is not planning a major push into the Star Wars space, even though he has his own movie in the works. As previously reported, the architect of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is developing a new Star Wars movie for Lucasfilm, but the man himself tells EW Entertainment Weekly in an interview for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier that his involvement with the galaxy far, far away will not extend into the multitude of TV shows now in the works for Disney+. Feige says, "No, that's all Kathy Kennedy. I am involved in as much as I stay up until midnight LA time to watch new episodes of The Mandalorian when they drop." So there you go, haters. James just dropped a whole bunch of stuff. Do you remember a character named Dirge? Well, guess what? Dirge, one of the Star Wars most fearsome bounty hunters, is entering the new Star Wars canon in June. Dirge's return in Star Wars Dr. Aphra number 11, part of the Boba Fett focused War of the Bounty Hunters crossover event, and one of the Star Wars comics receiving a Pride Month variant. Lucasfilm created Dirge for the Clone Wars multimedia event in 2003. He first appeared in the Star Wars Republic comic book series and later in Genndy Tartakovsky's, yeah, I said it right, original Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon. In similar news, Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, as well as Star Wars Ewoks Season 1 and 2, Ewoks, The Battle for Endor, and The Story of the Faithful Wookiee, which is a segment from Star Wars Holiday Special, will be on Disney Plus as of April 2nd. This is crazy, amazing news, and it should have been at the lead, but you know what? I cut and pasted that one second. And in our final story, Black Series, you know you love them. You know you like hashing out those extra dollars. Well, guess what? There's a new line coming out from Legends, Tales, and Current Storytelling. The heroes and villains chosen for this new series for Plastic Immortality will be this following characters: Luke Skywalker from Star Wars Heir to the Empire, JAXXON, one of James's favorite 1970s Marvel, Star Wars, and IDW Publishing Star Wars Adventures, Darth Maul from Star Wars Darth Maul, and Kir Kanos from Star Wars Crimson Empire. So this is all stuff from either EU books or EU Marvel Comics or Dark Horse era Star Wars. So it's out there. This is pretty wild. They're making it, but like it's kind of cool. They will retail for $24.99 US, and they are up for pre-order now. So go check it out. And this has been your Hollow News.
I gotta say, the Tartakovsky Star Wars is among my favorite Star Wars. And season 2 is phenomenal.
He's got some new series out on like Cartoon Network or whatever it is in Canada, and it looks cool. And I keep forgetting to watch it. It's like it looks like a Conan the Barbarian like style, like fantasy with dragons, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's more sci-fi. I don't know. It looks cool.
I like,
but yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like that they're finally embracing it, because it's not canon. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's freaking awesome. And I feel like the Clone Wars show, which what was that one called? The Clone Wars. So Clone Wars, just Clone Wars, the Filoni one. It never really stepped on the toes of that one either. Like they're kind of like there are things that happen, and I think so. The Asajj Ventress, I think, like just appear. Is that who it is? I think she just like appears in one. Brock, I lost you. There, you're back. She just and the way the ending of the Tartakovsky Clone Wars ends right at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. It blends in beautifully, and the Filoni Clone Wars didn't bother even stepping on those toes. It just it was a different viewpoint, which was brilliant. I thought brilliant because now you can enjoy both of them, and if you're paranoid about canon, you don't have to be.
Yeah, it was like a diamond in the rough where you're like, you watched it and you watched the movie and you're like, wow, these work so well together, and like so many people don't know. And it's like they just can exist of their own volition, but then they work so well together. Like it was ahead of its time. Like it's like what we're doing right now with Snyder Cut and all that jazz. And you're just like, wow. So that's very, very exciting. I think I brought this up before. I remember seeing the Clone Wars action figures at a Toys R Us for that series, and I regret now not buying because I have never seen them again. Like
you would be rich
those
if
are
you kept them
collectibles.
you'd be rich.
I would be a thousandaire for sure. Anyway,
it's wild to me that we're getting all this cool content and people are just like, "Where's droids?" Like, chill out.
It'll come, man.
Can't have everything all at once. You can watch it all on YouTube anyway. Just chill out. And maybe they don't want you to realize that Kylo Ren is one of the villains in Droids. They just don't want you to know that their names are very unoriginal. All right, top five Clone Wars characters. This is Filoni.
Kylo Ren.
Clone Wars characters to appear on the Ahsoka Tano show. What Clone Wars characters will be making their way to the Ahsoka Tano live-action show? My number 5, Yoda. Is that a cop-out? Yes.
It's getting to the point where it's not Star Wars if there isn't a Yoda reference.
I bet you there are kids that just call Star Wars the Yoda show or the let's watch the Yoda.
I was gonna just change this, but you know what? I did this last week. Number 5, Hondo Anaka. I mean, he really should just be higher up, but like I like putting him at the 5th spot on every list now.
Like top 5
Hondo.
Top 5 lightsaber hilts. Hondo Anaka.
We should get Hondo shirts.
Oh my god, we should. My number 4.
They must exist.
Bo-Katan.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I don't see how. I mean, I can see how it doesn't make sense, but I can see how it does make sense. So I'm going with Bo-Katan.
I'm gonna go in that same vein, but I'm gonna go Corky Cries.
Yes.
Nobody, everyone's like, "Where's Corky?"
Why not do it? My number 3,
and like, there is a storyline with Ahsoka and Corky, so like, it works.
Flesh it out in live action. Who would you get to play him? The guy with one hand from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, Nicholas something. Yeah,
I've never seen.
Too handsome.
I don't know I don't know Game of Thrones that well, but he has one hand.
Yeah. What was your number 3?
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera's in the Clone Wars?
My number 3, Capitan Rex. Captain Rex, number 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make Captain Rex in everything. I mean, you got Tamora Morrison. The guy's like, I will do it all. I was surprised Zack Snyder didn't call him for extra scenes. He should have been him instead of what's her face at the end of the movie. It's just Tamora Morrison in Mandalorian gear. This is what I wear everywhere now.
Is Asajj Ventress dead? I can't remember what happens with her. She like becomes good in that one book.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Asajj Ventress.
Asajj Ventress. That'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
My number 2, Anakin Skywalker.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring him up.
I don't think he will, but you're bringing him into Obi-Wan. Why not bring Hayden Christensen into the Ahsoka show? And it would make sense. So I'm going with Ahsoka.
I always forget what's the planet where they like meet the father and the son and the daughter? Mortis. Just Mortis. Just put it in there.
Mortis.
The whole planet.
I guess
it's
yeah, Mortis is kind of a character. I mean, she's in the world between worlds at one point. So
yeah, that's my thinking. I'm like, oh, they have to explore that. I mean, if a planet in DC Comics, they have a planet that's a part of the Green Lantern Corps, like because it's alive. Like, why couldn't there be Mortis? She's like, it's Ego, the living planet. They just get Kurt
I'll
Russell.
give you more. Mortis is a character anyway. Mortis is a huge thing of Star Wars that a lot of fans don't know about.
Yeah.
My number one, Plo Koon.
Ooh, that's a really good one.
But
the best one is Captain Rex. You fool! Why would you put him?
No, Plo Koon. We got to see the story of how she was found.
That's in like flashbacks.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Plo Koon.
I like it.
That's where I'm going. Yeah, but no, Captain Rex. You gotta throw him in there. They won't, but you got to.
Yeah. I don't.
Now I'm crying thinking what happened to Rex. Well, that's 208 episodes of the. We never introduced ourselves today either.
I'm Brock. This is James. This is the Rebel Snyder Cut.
208.
208. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you for listening. Go watch the Snyder Cut if you haven't watched it. It'll better your life.
It's only 4 hours.
That's a little out of.
Yeah, I don't think.
Or go see Winter Soldier / The Falcon, or you know what, Spaceship Troopers.
What I watched something. No, it was the Justice League. I watched something though that I really enjoyed lately, but I don't remember what it was because Justice League has overshadowed me on everything. The heck did I watch? Oh, I showed my parents part of Shazam right outside of their condo.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know, and there was no audio because I didn't want to do that to them. But they don't like those things. And they're like, "Oh, look at that!" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, look at that!" I'm like, "Yeah." And that's what it was. They got a kick out of that. I was going to show them Titans, but I still haven't got to. I've been slow in watching that one, not just because I'm slow at watching things, but I haven't gotten to a Toronto part yet. So I haven't. Yeah. I was like, well, I don't know which one to show you because they always talk about. They're like, we saw Gotham City. I'm like, yeah. Brock. It says so. I haven't got there yet. I want to. I'm enjoying that show actually. But I passed the Doom Patrol episode, and I'm 2 episodes past that or something. Anyway, nice. So that's my life right there.
My life.
Release the Abrams cut.
Release the Razile cut.
Every time Fantasia mentions how, but there's a 3-hour cut. I'm like, well, out there, the movie that we did with them, I'm like, there is like a 4-hour cut of that, and nobody wants to watch that.
Yeah.
Nobody. Long cuts exist. That's called an assembly edit. That's how you put it. It's just a movie in order. It's not good. Exactly. It's not good. Anyway, episode 208. Anything else you want to say?
No. Thanks for coming out.
Me and my Phasma. Do you know what Phasma said to Finn right before she perished? She said the same thing.
No, what did she say?
That's high end. She said the same thing I'm going to say to you. You were always scum.
Rebel scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.